Okay, good morning, my friends. Hola y muy buenos días a todos, mis amigos. Today we're learning about a really useful, important phrase or kind of construct way of speaking in Spanish. And it's a three-parter. It's ear, which is our first part. Oops, sorry, I thought I had a pen selected, but I didn't. So our first part is ear. Our second part is and our third part is an infinitive. All right, and so if you want to see this laid out in some other way, you can always check out our e-text. I try to give you that every time so that you can find out where this is explained another way, but you can always ask for help too. So let's move on and I'll tell you more about this. As we go, make sure you're annotating these notes or taking other good notes that will actually help you when you need to review this concept. So make sure you're taking some good notes, all right? So remember, just as you would say that you are going, and an infinitive in English to say that you're going to do something in English, in Spanish, you can use a form of the verb ir, that's our part one, a form of that's part two, and then an infinitive, that's part three, to express the same idea. So remember that, in this case, if you're talking about ir, you're going to use one of the forms we already know. Voy, vas, va. Sorry, I'm going to move up here. Vamos, vais. Sorry, I'm getting a little tight. And van. All right. So you use a form of the verb ir. And then is what we'll call a constant. It doesn't change. All right. So just like in a math formula or a science formula, you don't change it. That's the case here. And with this kind of phrase, is always You don't have to change it in any way. And then remember that for an infinitive, it will either end AR, ER, or IR, right? So you're looking for one of those words that ends with an AR, ER, or IR. Let's look at a few examples just to help us. So the first one here says, voy a jugar al tenis hoy. So voy is a conjugated form of the verb ir. That's our first part. Then we have that's our second part. It's a constant, so it doesn't change. And then we've got an AR verb here, jugar. That's our third part, right? And voy a jugar al tenis means I'm going to play tennis today. Taking a look at our second example, we've got vas, a conjugated form of ir. We've got which is our constant, and jugar all over again. So vas a jugar tú al tenis, al golf esta tarde means, are you going to play golf this afternoon? All right, and then this last one, I just want to highlight something about it. So it says, mis amigas van a ir de camping, right? So notice, van, that's a form of ir, that's our constant, and then ir is indeed an infinitive. You might think, well, but it's also the first verb here. That's true, but think about all the times in English you would say, I'm going to go to the mall, I'm going to go camping, I'm going to go fishing, right? We say going to go all the time in English, and you can do that in Spanish too. So just check out that construction's the exact same. We use a conjugated form of ir, and then an infinitive, something that ends AR, ER, or IR. All right, and so mis amigas van a ir de camping mañana means my friends are going to go camping tomorrow. So there are just a couple more things to say here. So the first one is that all these phrases are phrases that we use to talk about the near future, and specifically near future actions, right? Verbs are action words, and we always, as our third part of this, have an infinitive verb, right? So we're always talking about future actions. And I mention this just to distinguish it from another phrase we've been learning. So let me give you an example of what this isn't. So if I say, voy al gimnasio después de las clases, right? You'll notice that I have a form of the verb ir, and then I have al, and then I have a place, right? Ir, and then an article and a place. That's a different construction that we've been learning. It looks kind of the same, but this is what we use when we're talking about places, right? This is what we use when we're talking about places. But if we're talking about near future actions, we'll use this construction. So we'll use a form of the verb ir. So let's say vamos. Then we'll use the constant a. It never changes. It's not al, it's not a la, it's not a los, it's not a las. It's just always a. And then we choose an infinitive. Vamos a nadar hoy. For example, we're going to swim today, right? Going to swim. All right? So this is an example of a near future action rather than a place. So I just wanted to distinguish those two things from you. If you're still confused, feel free to come stop by my classroom or send me a Schoology message or set up a time with me on Zoom and we can talk about how those are different. Okay, now that you have heard all about ir plus a plus infinitive, I'm asking you to use that model to fill in these examples. So please make sure you've taken good notes on this screencast, and then make sure that you fill out all 7 of these examples following the model, and make sure you're just using that ir plus a plus infinitive construction. Okay, and then hand all your notes and this practice into the assignment where you found this screencast. All right, I hope you have a good day. Hasta luego. Nos vemos.